know that I run it. Everything you wanna do, I already done it. And I got your little boo telling me she love me. I got this one, that one. Damn, it's gonna be a long night.
Hello guys, what is up? It is me, Prince of Odessa, and I'm back here with another video. Today we are doing What If Deku Was a Technopath, Part 2, Spoiled. And before we get right into this, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, because YouTube doesn't always let you know when I post. Should anybody else might like what ifs, the Discord is always down below. And as you know, I've already started a playlist for this, so if you didn't get the first part, go back and, watch it. Part 1 of Deku was What If Deku Was a Technopath. And I will be doing What If Boruto Was a Speedster, but I won't be doing a full story. I'll be doing like a side story, and I'll end it in a movie. So it's going to take a while to script. You guys have the option to watch it or not watch it. It's fine. If you also feel like you have to unsubscribe because you just hate that I did it, I'm fine with that too. You can go right ahead. I don't really mind, but I'm going to do it because it's actually kind of fun writing it. But if I give up halfway, then I give up halfway. But either way, I'm kind of determined to do it right now. Also, just want to let you guys know that I'm actually working on a Attack on Titan What If. It's called What If Eren Was Kurama's host. And yeah, he's going to have, Kurama in it. But I'm not just going to make only Eren have chakra. I'm going to give chakra to everyone else in general so it can be balanced so people aren't too shocked when he shows this monster made out of chakra. Anyway, let's just get right into the video, and I hope you guys enjoy. So last time we started off with the young Deku who messed up in government affairs and ended up being a government official. Finding out his ability to control technology, he then worked behind the scenes to protect the Society of Heroes, and especially his mom. Soon Deku gets tangled up in a fight versus a sludge villain, and this soon brings All Might to his door. Agreeing to fix him, Deku then makes something that brings back the #1 hero to full strength. However, after years of constantly working, he's finally been convinced by his mother to go to UA, where he meets Class 1A. After this, he then goes to the USJ and the villains attack, but Deku defeats them, but then keeps Shigaraki. And then next, he had just remembered that he actually invited his classmates and went to go up and meet them. Now after hearing the ring, Deku goes up and runs to the living room, up the elevator to see everyone waiting for him. Inko would then say, "Izuku, I didn't know you decided to have a sleepover." "Mom, it's not a sleepover." Everyone kind of chuckles at this. Sero then looks around saying, "Wow, dude, everything here is just so... Wow, Momo, how are you so calm?" Momo then says, "I also come from a wealthy family, so this isn't that weird for me, but this place is even bigger than where I live." Bakugo would then be around and just, sits on a couch and says, "So, you're just gonna walk around this place for hours? What do you even do here?" "I'm glad you asked," says Deku, smiling. "I'm glad you asked," says Deku, smiling, as he then brought the group on a field trip of sorts, and he showed them, the entire place. He showed off the gym, their theater room, a gaming room, an onsen, and then his room. They all take the elevator down, and when they're arriving, Deku's eyes glow, thinking camouflage function activate. His room then contorts and transforms into a normal room just as the elevator opens up, and everyone is wowed by how awesome and huge his room is. "Dude, your bed is huge," says Kirishima. "Can I?" Deku then nods and Kirishima jumps on it, feeling really comfy, and everyone then just walks around, seeing weapons Deku has built for himself. Deku's eyes then shine blue, pulsing with energy as his personal floating TV comes out, surprising everyone, and then the TV grows. Deku would then say, "What do you guys want to watch? Or if you want, I have a PS5 console." Deku then puts out controllers with Mina, Kaminari, Ojiro, etc. jumping on to play and check out what games Deku has installed, and some of them just asked to go to the gym or the onsen in the house. Now, all that there would be left was Bakugo and Deku in the living room. So what do you want to do? Bakugo then scoffs and says, "I only came here for one reason, nerd, to see what type of person you are." And I was right, you're just a spoiled rich kid. Deku, already being used to insults at this point, only sighs, saying, "Fine, let me take you to one of my most favorite rooms." Bakugo then follows Deku interested, and when they go to the room, he notices that it is lined up with these blue lights, and the rest of the area have tiles put out in the shape of squares, and it's all completely just quiet, there's nothing there. "What is this place?" "My training room." Hearing this, Bakugo would smile as with Deku, and lightning strikes between them, and clearly they want to duke it out and do not like each other. "Don't worry about your explosions, they won't cause any damage, so go all out, and I'll do the same." Bakugo then gets in the stance, blasting himself forward with explosions just to hit Deku's face, but Deku easily dodges him, punching him in the stomach, as Bakugo then stumbles forward and he looks back to see Deku with his hands in his lab coat pockets. Deku has a system implanted in his bionic eye that can read out enemies' techniques, and it also points out weak points, and what makes those eyes so powerful is that they're never wrong. Bakugo then throws an explosion at Deku, who manipulates the cybernetics in the room to create a wall. By his side, Bakugo then appears, kicking Deku behind the neck, but as he does though, he is blown back by a pulse wave that comes out of Deku, And as Bakugo slams into the wall behind him, the walls activate and absorb the shock with ease. Deku then puts down the wall thinking he could be so much better. This gives me an idea, but Shinzo might not like it though. Damn it, you bastard, just let me hit you. He then throws a massive explosion at Deku, who smiles, putting his arm out, activating a cyber shield made of nothing but pure electricity and data. This makes a see-through shield that forms and protects Deku entirely, and when the smoke cleared, Bakugo saw that Deku was unhurt. What kind of monster are you? Deku then says, that's rude, you don't see me insulting you for being able to turn your sweat into explosions. How did you? Bakugo would then be caught off as Deku asks, hey, I know you don't like me, and I really don't like you. What would you say if I could help you get stronger? We then cut to a few hours later when Deku would be in the living room applying some tech to Bakugo's body when some students start coming out, and this would include Momo, who just came from the onsen, Jiro, who was taken away from gaming, and Ojo, who just came from the gym. May I ask what you're doing? Asked Momo. Deku would then say implanting experimental tech into Bakugo. Experimental? What the hell, you bastard? Deku then laughs, making everyone worry as he then says, don't worry. For me, experimental in your standards would be considered finished, and yeah, I'm done. Bakugo then asked what he just did, and Deku said that he applied something called nanites or nanobots to his body and reinforced his shoulder area. So now, no matter how much he uses explosions, the nanobots will just absorb the impact going to his shoulder area. Doesn't that mean he can use his quirk indefinitely? Asked Momo. Deku then says, well, duh, but that's the point. Also, this is only for testing, so I can know how to improve it, but feel free to keep the enhancements until you no longer feel like you need them. I'll take them back anyway if we have to do something, you know, like an exercise. Thanks, I guess, says Bakugo. Bakugo then remembers when he called Deku nothing but a spoiled rich kid and kind of feels bad because Deku helped him out even though he should be kicking him out of his house right now. I guess you're not just some spoiled rich kid. Oh, trust me, I am, says Deku. I just fiddle with you for the sake of my own purpose. You're right, I take that back. Everyone then laughs at this, including Deku, at how fast he switched up, but Bakugo was being super serious. However, Bakugo does think, this is pretty cool. Time skip to the next day, and Deku would be at school, and Aizawa walks in just as everyone was talking about how awesome yesterday was, and Todoroki, being annoyed by all the racket, would wonder what exactly happened. I still don't trust that kid, he would think. Aizawa then walks in telling everyone to calm down, and they do, and he says, Midoriya, I see you're still wearing your lab coat. Oh yeah, sorry, I haven't actually received my uniform yet, but it's coming in tomorrow. Aizawa then lets it pass and talks about the sports festival, saying that it will be their chance to, you know, show off a bit. And after that, they will have the chance to work with heroes, and after this is when everyone goes to lunch, and you know, Deku gets ready to leave when Bakugo walks up to him. Hey nerd, I have a name, you know. Just, those nanobots, they actually work perfectly, and for some reason my upper body strength is increased by a lot. Deku and Bakugo then talk about this. Meanwhile, Ida watches, not knowing how to approach him, specifically Deku, and he didn't actually come to the party, just like Todoroki, wanting to follow protocol and stay home. He's that type of guy. Now when Bakugo and Deku start talking, Ida then notices that his shadow is over him, and he looks back to see All Might, and he apologizes for being in his way. And All Might says, it's quite alright. Yo Midoriya, may I speak with you for a minute? Deku then lifts an eyebrow to this as we then cut to the two being in the teacher's lounge, and there All Might thanks Deku, you know, personally, saying, I thank you so much, but how did you do it? I introduced your body to some experimental serum which helped you regrow your dead skin and cells. Experimental? Well, you know what, I don't care, it works, so thank you so much. Deku would then ask, is that all? And he says, yes. So Deku would then leave with All Might wondering why when he talks to Deku he feels like he's talking to his master, and Deku then goes to lunch and is invited by Uraraka to sit with her and Ida. Uraraka was filling Ida in on what happened, you know, what they did at Deku's home, and Deku would then say, oh, you're from that famous hero family, right? How do you know that? Ida would ask. Uraraka wants to know what they mean, and Ida tells her that he's basically loaded, and not as loaded as Deku, but loaded. But now as they're eating, this is when Monoma walks up to Deku and hits him with his elbow accidentally. However, he hit a cyber shield but didn't feel that he did, but Deku did, and he faked being annoyed. Monoma would then say, oh, sorry about that, I'm really clumsy. He's then hit on the head by Kendo, who apologizes, saying that he most definitely did that on purpose, and she then carries him away and apologizing again, with the three wondering what the hell, what is, you know, that was about, you know, what the hell is up with him. But Deku already knows because he's a genius. So when lunch ends, the three go back to class together, being the last to make it there, and school then goes on as usual until it's time to leave. But all of 1A starts to notice there are students crowding their door. What's the big idea? Sato would wonder. Deku then gets ready to go home, but notices that the students in front of him aren't moving and are mumbling about him. You guys get out of my way? Wait, I didn't even see him at the exams, says one of the people. This is when Shinso walks out tired and looking down at Deku. Don't worry, Class 1A, we don't want any trouble, but this is basically a declaration of war. Plus, most of us agree that someone like you being in 1A is bullshit. He points at Deku, whose side is thinking back to Shinzo and what he said to him. Do you want to keep your identity secret? These words would keep ringing in his mind until he says, activate KO droids. Everyone is then confused by this because only teachers can activate those things, but they would all be shocked to see that 4 droids pop up out of the walls and walk behind Deku. How did you do that? Shinzo would ask. Isn't it obvious? I made them. I'm the one who came up with the idea for the KO droids. What? Everyone would yell, not believing a single word, but then he knocks on the robots, making them pop up and showing a plate inside them, and it says property of Izuku Midoriya inside, and he makes the robots spin and show this to everyone. When did you find time to put that in there? Mineta would ask. There's so much circuitry. Deku then says he's very thorough, saying that during the exams he was there piloting the first KO droids and got over 300 points because he saved so many people and beat a lot of robots. Everyone is just baffled as the droids then go back into the walls, and at this point no one could say shit as when Deku stared at them they get scared and make way for him to leave. He made those things? Thought Bakugo. I thought the enhancements he gave me were bought just by money. So stupid. Deku then leaves, and while in the hallway he would be scratching his head thinking how immature that was and how unnecessary that was, but he says, if we're gonna be disrespectful, there's no point in being nice. We then have a flashback to Deku in a room with people inspecting him as a doctor then says for him to begin, and Deku nods, closing his eyes as when he opens them, they shine blue, forming a wall of data off of which he just got the entirety of Japan's information, everything, stats about maybe past presidents, just everything. Starting to rise off the floor, a 5-year-old Deku then smiles as we cut back to the current him walking in the streets, but he's then caught up to by Bakugo, Ida, and Uraraka. Hey nerd, are you trying to tell me that you work for Star Industries? You ran over here just to ask that? But no, I don't work there, actually I own it. The three would have their jaws drop, as he then asked them to keep this a secret, and if they want proof, he can take them to the industry and, show that he really is the boss behind the scenes. Now that day, the three would have their minds blown, and they go home thinking of Deku differently, definitely. And when Deku gets home, it is 5 o'clock, and he goes to say hi to his mom, and he finds her in the onsen, and she turns around asking how school was. Different, maybe even a little bit fun. Look, I have something to go do, but when I'm done, you want to go out for dinner? Inko will be surprised to hear that her son wants to eat out and agrees, and Deku then goes down to his sub-lab as he detects Shigaraki has woken up. Now opening up the wall to his room, he sees Shigaraki right in front of him, right on the freaking wall. And he would ask, who are you? For now, that's confidential. So, Tomura Shigaraki. Falling down, a chair pops up and he sits on it. It just pops up automatically. And he would say, seems like you have quite a troublesome history. I'm not even joking, not gonna lie, your dad was kind of a dick, but he thought your grandma was worse. What do you even know about me? Where is this place? Oh, this is my house. By the way, I'm sure you already tried, but you can't use your powers in that room, so just tell me what your relation is to this man. He then makes a hologram of All For One form out of his eye, with Shigaraki saying that this is his master, and Deku should be careful, because if he isn't, he will perish. That's your tactic? Fear-mongering? Look, I'm trying to help you, I'm not your enemy. So what, you're a hero? That's even worse. Deku then smiles, thinking back on what Bakugo said, and he says, you're right, I'm even worse than a hero. I'm a spoiled rich kid, meaning I am super selfish, so guess what? Whether or not you like it, I'm going to keep you here until I help you, and you're not going to do a thing about it. Shigaraki hates Deku's attitude and starts taking the hand off of his face, the hand that, the arms on him. Deku then take that off because he assumes that he needs them to deal with some trauma. And he shows his face, his disfigured face, but Deku isn't scared by it at all, and instead walks up to him. You've completely lost it, haven't you? You tell me, says Shigaraki. We're gonna be roomies for a while, right? I hope you like the screams. A stare down would then commence between the two as you have a 2-week time skip, and people are just training for the sports festival, and everyone will be getting their asses in gear, with Bakugo using the nanobots to his advantage and produce as much flames and explosions as he can. He experiments and creates awesome moves to his art's content, and the others are trying to create their countermeasures if they ever have to fight a genius like Deku, Todoroki, or Bakugo. And as for Todoroki, well, he was going to show that he had the capabilities of being the #1 hero and try to surpass his father. Now, the day of the festival, students would be brought to an arena, a stadium, on a bus, and staying in a waiting room outside. There would be an entire crowd waiting for them, so it's safe to say these kids are pretty nervous, and This included like every student in UA, of course. So it's safe to say that, yeah, like I said, everyone's nervous, and Deku would be actually taking a nap in his chair and putting his foot on a table in front of him. Everyone seeing how lax he is envy him, and they're excited but nervous. How are you so calm right now, Midoriya? Asked Suyu. Deku would then open one of his eyes, saying, "Guys, don't worry. If you just show off how great you are, nothing else matters. Just be amazing." "Well, you're not wrong," Mina would say. "Then I'm aiming for the top. I'm going all the way," says Sero. This gets everyone excited, and Bakugo then yells, "Don't even think of winning because I'm gonna be number one. And you." He then points to Deku and asks, "Even in a UA uniform, why the hell are you still wearing that damn lab coat?" "It's my hero costume. I never take it off." Deku and Bakugo would then start to have an argument when, for the first time, Todoroki would walk up to both Bakugo and Deku actually talking. "Midoriya, Bakugo, don't get ahead of yourselves." Deku and Bakugo then look at Todoroki, who then turns to Deku saying, "Apparently you built all those droids, right?" Deku then nods and Todoroki grits his teeth, remembering how easily he was beaten by them. "I promise I'm gonna beat you, only with my right side." Everyone is surprised by this declaration, with Deku smiling as they are then called out, and Todoroki turns and leaves first with the others following, now being more nervous than before as it seemed that Todoroki was finally going all out. Now as they're heading out though, Deku takes back the nanobots from Bakugo, who doesn't really mind and he wants to win without advantages. The crowd is roaring and cheering for them, and they look around barely believing they're even here at all, and the other classes would then walk out of their waiting rooms as everyone just aligns properly, and Midnight shows up, showboating a bit, and then she calls out Deku to the stand, saying that he earned a spot in UA with over 300 points, shocking everyone. Now as Deku walks to the stands, all the other students keep their eyes on him, and when he makes it to the podium, he clears his throat saying, "I'm gonna win." Silence then fills the area, and Deku clearly isn't intent on saying anything else. "That's it?" yell all the students. Deku then nods, making them a little mad, saying that this kid is definitely going down. Now as the challenge is being decided, everyone thinks Deku is gonna lose, and he clearly has no combat experience, and he looks skinny as hell. He's just a rich kid, is what they're probably thinking, thinks Deku. "Well, I'm a Technopath. I don't need combat experience to win." Now as the race is decided, for the challenge, the obstacle race, a giant gate opens up from under one of the sides of the stadium, and a countdown starts with the camera being kept on these kids. "Begin!" yells Midnight, as everyone then runs, just pushing each other side to the side, just causing a ruckus, but all of a sudden the cameras show a burst of ice and frost come out the other end of the gate, with Todoroki heading out first. "This time I'm going all the way," says Todoroki. However, he is then caught up to and passed by Bakugo, whose explosions have gotten way more powerful, and so Todoroki speeds up, using his ice as a foothold to glide through the test. The other students then soon get free of the ice and go crazy as well. Meanwhile, President Mike will be, the host, and comes with this piercing voice saying, "And there it starts, folks. Bakugo Katsuki takes the lead for now, but the others are not giving up either." However, he then stops and distracts Aizawa, who is next to him, points down, with everyone noticing that Deku hadn't moved an inch. "What are you still doing here?" yelled Midnight. Deku then says, "Oh, sorry, I was enjoying the show." This confuses Midnight, but Deku finally starts moving. However, he's walking while using his technopathy to transfer the cameras, in the area, their vision to his bionic eye. It's like watching reality TV. Anyway, I guess I gotta get serious. Finally walking out from the other side of the gate, he's quite behind, and everyone wonders if he's just given up, with every student wondering where he was. This is when Deku uses nanobots to form a hovering device around them, and he starts floating up slowly, when out of nowhere, a boom will be heard and Deku disappears from sight, as we see him moving at Mach 5 in the air. His hair and face are being blown back too much, and so a mask forms around his head. That's so much better. Now let's win this thing. Now as Bakugo and Todoroki are, passing over the Great Pit, they're hit by a gust of wind from above, and when they look up, there's nothing there. Don't tell me it was him, Bakugo would think. Now as everyone is wondering where Deku is, President Mike announces that Izuku Midoriya simply disappears, and this spreads to all the students who are confused by this until a loud boom is then heard once again, and everyone in the stadium feels a gust of wind hit them and push them back, and in the middle of the stadium a huge dust cloud would appear. When the dust cloud clears, Deku will be standing in the middle apologizing for the ruckus. Izuku Midoriya takes first place. Aizawa, have any idea of what's going on here? I'm just as confused as you are, Aizawa would say, and Deku smiles, amplifying his voice. I flew here. The reason why you may have heard a boom is because I broke the sound barrier. Here, look. He uses his eye to show a hologram of him being recorded in slow motion, and everyone sees him breaking the sound barrier twice. And when he stopped, in the stadium, the hologram then disappears with everyone being confused. Come to think of it, they never told us his quirks. Maybe he has 2 of them. Midnight then tells Deku to give them his quirk, asking, you don't mind, right? Deku then says he doesn't mind and amplifies his voice once more. My quirk is Technopath, as it suggests I have the ability to control technology. I also have machines in my body that help me do incredible things like increase the volume of my voice, and I also have propellers that allow me to fly. But in general, there's nothing I can't do with technology. I really should have tested him, Aizawa would say. Now when the other students hear, of this news through the entire obstacle race, they are surprised, wondering how Deku got there so fast, and Bakugo, who is running side by side against Todoroki, then thinks that he has to go and ask him right away, so he increases his speed even more, and he and Todoroki are just past the pit, so he goes into the air and starts turning, using the explosions to create a move he likes to call corkscrew, and he quickly makes it to the end, arriving at 10 seconds ahead of Todoroki, who falls behind. When they both arrive, Bakugo launches at Deku, actually not meaning to, he can't stop himself because he hasn't been used to the move that much yet, and Deku stops him with this cyber shield as Bakugo says thanks. Deku then says it's not a problem as Bakugo then lands and stares at him, now considering Deku a legitimate threat. Todoroki then arrives feeling the cold overtake him and holds his head down, breathing heavily, as President Mike then announced him being in 3rd place. He then feels a pat on his shoulder as he then feels his body being heated up and he sees Deku doing this. Now getting pissed off, he smacks Deku away, almost hitting him in the face. Deku then says, whoa, calm down buddy, I detected you going into a hyperthermic state. And you would know that how? Deku then points to his eye, which then pops up a hologram of Todoroki's biometrics, which show that his body is actually now going back to normal temperature thanks to Deku. Whatever, just leave me alone, I don't need your help. He then walks away from Bakugo and Deku, going to the waiting room as instructed by the hero Midnight, and the other two do the same thing, waiting for their classmates to arrive. Now while they are relaxed, time passes and soon everyone does arrive, and they are assigned points based on what place they are in, and when everyone hears Deku has 10 million points, they all stare at him but try to hide their intentions. Now the cavalry battle is then announced with Deku finding himself alone. Yeah, maybe I should have held back a bit. And instead of looking for teammates though, he goes to a Midnight who looks down at him from the podium. What do you need, Izuku? Can I be on my own for the battle as long as I have some companions? It's not against the rules, no, so sure. Hearing this, Deku would then show a devilish smile as he looks up into the sky with his eyes pulsing with blue energy, and this is when Uraraka, Ida, and Mei show up saying that they want to be partners with him. Now before Deku can say another word though, his KO George dropped from the sky, shocking everyone. Sorry, I learned I could do this, so... Mei then says that she totally understands, saying, I've been meaning to get my hand on one of those babies. The circuitry, the structure, it's all so beautiful. Can I have one? No, says Deku straightforwardly. This makes Mei sad, but she understands, and this is when Deku gets looked at even more, and people are mumbling. Is he even allowed to use that? Wait, I thought those were exclusively for UA. Star Industries hasn't even mass-produced those yet. Everyone that waits for an explanation from President Mike, who would smile, yelling, according to recent news, Izuku Midori, a resident boy genius, actually invented and built these mechanical beauties. Thus, he may use them in any way he wants, and just in case he registers specifically 5 of these to use if needed. That is way too specific, you bastard, yells Bakugo, and Deku just shrugs his shoulders, making Bakugo even madder, and he then jumps up, activating something called a morphing sequence. Everyone then sees the robots morph into an armored high-tech car, and when he lands on top of the car, sitting cross-legged, a controller pops up and he grabs it. That is so freaking cool, a game controller, yells Kirishima. Deku then makes the armored car roar as he says he's ready to go. Everyone get your teams ready, says Midnight, and good luck. Now soon the teams will be made with Tokoyami going to Todoroki's team, and what was supposed to be Deku's team just stays as a team without him. Everyone then gets ready to fight, and when Midnight commences the fight, Todoroki points at Deku, sending a wave of ice at him with everyone charging at who they can, and by pressing a button however, Deku makes a cannon pop out which sends out a pulse wave that shatters the ice with ease and hits Todoroki and his team, sending him flying, and this wave also kind of hits others, and Deku feels bad saying, sorry, that was an accident. However, his face then turns to seriousness as he presses another button, activating a cyber shield that blocks a blast from Bakugo. God damn it! Now while in mid-air, he throws multiple explosions with none of them getting past or through the shield, and he almost falls but is caught by Sero. Todoroki's team then reconstructs itself, not taking any chances with Deku, as they need to focus on passing this test. Now throughout this entire time, Deku would sit stationary with no one being able to steal any points for him, and of course he has the headband on, and it's just kind of chilling, you know? Now this test would take a while to finish. People were just going back and forth trying to keep themselves safe, but when it is over, everyone lines up to hear that Deku is in first place, Bakugo's team is in second, Todoroki is in third once again. And as he hears this, Todoroki clenches his fist in anger, as in the corner of his eye, he as well as spectators notice that Endeavor has arrived, and Todoroki would think, I will never be like you, I won't use it. Deku then sees this hatred in Todoroki's eyes and smiles, thinking that this is getting quite interesting. I have been meaning to have a talk with the number 2 hero. This is perfect. What does Deku mean by this, and what will go down in the next test? Find out in the upcoming parts. It's been me, Prince of What Ifs, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Goodbye.